Come here. We're going to fight the Huns.
We're back for the darkest hour with Winston Churchill. Go! Over! V for victory!
So, Darkest Hour. Joe Wright directed it, Atonement, and...
Hannah, with Eric Banner.
Hannah. With Eric Banner again. Hello.
Hello.
Gary Oldman, Ben Mendelsohn. I've been waiting for this movie for a while.
Is Gary going to win Best Actor? Of course he is. What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
He's due. Is this the film he gets it for? Did he deserve it? I don't know. But he's going to win.
Look, did Leo deserve it for The Revenant, not The Aviator? Yeah, it's the internal question.
My thoughts on this film. I thought it was very, very talky. I have been watching The Crown at home recently, and I went straight from The Crown into The Darkest Hour and sort of blended together. Even one of the actors in The Crown is in The Darkest Hour, which also features Winston Churchill.
That's pretty close, yeah.
So I was sort of like, is John Lithgow going to show up and just be like... But he doesn't. There's Gary Oldman that's there instead. There's a couple of really great shots in there. Joe Wright is really good at just finding that one shot in there that you walk away from the movie and go, that was awesome. That was
Great.
awesome. There's one bit. I mean, there's a bit with the plane and like the kids get tanned by and stuff like that, and it was fantastic. But as a movie, I thought it was a little bit boring.
It was a little boring. I do agree with that. And I think the part is the rhetoric and the reality is what I guess Joe was getting at in terms of, he did talk a lot. He talked a lot, and did he get anything done? And that's kind of the historical kind of, well, did he actually impact Britain in a correct way?
I'm not sure. I mean, he was...
manner. So I think that's kind of reflected in the film. But yeah, it is very talkative.
Yeah. You kind of want someone to just say, chill Winston at some point.
Chill Winston.
It's great to go in there and just see Gary Oldman give it his 110%.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do? You got to go in there and give it 110%.
He was unrecognisable in the role.
100%.
I couldn't really tell.
Look, it's meticulously crafted. It's a nice flip of the coin to Dunkirk. Like, it's set around exactly the same time. It's just, instead of, Tom Hardy in the plane going, circle around, it's got Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill on the ground going, this is our darkest hour!
Yeah. What are you going to give it, Tom?
6.5.
I'm going to give it 7. Tom, is there someone at the door?
I don't know, Blake. Who is there?
Might be the postman.
It could be. You know what that means. We're talking about The Post. Not Australia Post, but The Post. Steven Spielberg's newest film.
Yeah, based around the Washington Post, the newspaper. Focuses on the first female journalist to release the Pentagon Papers, which were some classified documents about the government and CIA and FBI and everyone involved in the Vietnam War. So yeah, there's a whole storm around at that time, akin to the Watergate scandal. So yeah, we do have master in class, Steven Spielberg at the helm.
That's right, and we've got, Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, it's Oscar bait at its finest, but it's still quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Look, the thing about Spielberg is, he's got nothing to prove anymore. You can see his output is phenomenal. And even with a film like this, which is very timely, it's about leaking information in the press, it's kind of a bit like the Trump now. I think that's kind of why they steamrolled this to happen. He's got the time. He's got the money to do whatever he wants. And even as simple as just watching the mechanics of how a newspaper is made, it's awesome. There's a camera spinning around the newspaper and it's going in here and through the keyholes and out that way and up and down. And you're like, hey, that's my man Spielberg right there.
It does. He knows what he's doing. The Hanks, what did you think of Hanks? I thought he was a little bit...
Look, Hanks was Hanks. He is... exactly as you'd expect Hanks to be. He's the everyman. He could do this in his sleep. But look, it's Hanks. That's what people show up for. They love Hanks. Meryl was great too. I think that actually the wild card of this was Bob Odenkirk. So you might remember him from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's kind of the man that's kind of tasked to bring back the files, and he sort of gives the film its beating heart, I feel. Look, I really quite enjoyed it. It's not Spielberg's greatest work, but I was still entertained.
Wow, okay. I'm going to give it 6.5.
Interesting.
What are you going to give it, Tom?
I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. Not Spielberg's greatest work, but it's also not The Terminal either. Which actually, you know what? The Terminal wasn't as bad as I remember it either. But it's not The Terminal. It's the Post. It's not The Terminal.
Tom, would you please leave? Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you want me to get out?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, this is my house. You get out.
My house, baby. Woo!
Get out. Get out of my house, you bum.
Get Out. Jordan Peele's directorial debut, starring Daniel Kaluuya as the...
Like the drink?
Yeah! Starring as the gentleman who is going to his girlfriend's parents' place for the weekend.
To meet them, obviously.
To meet them, yeah, to meet them.
It's a interracial couple, and she's taking her African-American boyfriend back to meet her, well, her Caucasian parents. And what starts off as just a sort of quite a simple film turns out to be so much more than that, doesn't it, Blake?
Yeah. It turns really quite evil in every sense of the word. It's hard to go into it without giving spoilers, but I think that
it is, yeah.
The suspense is fantastic, and it just kind of unravels. It's like watching string unravel straight in front of you. Yeah, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a great debut, and completely dumbfounded that Key and Peele, obviously, Jordan Peele came out with such a Hailmaker.
A strong debut. Yeah. It's a comedy. I mean, it's talking about serious topics. It is dealing with racism in a very, very unique way.
Yeah.
Told through like a comedy with, thriller elements to it. It's kind of sort of like showing that sort of very casual racism that happens a lot in the world, but it's very fresh and very original film.
Yeah. I think that, it's been a while since I've been in a cinema where the audience has laughed consistently throughout and kind of rode with the movie in terms of being scared, laughing, being quite uncomfortable at times. So I think
laughing uncomfortably too.
Yeah,
a lot of the times.
I thought it was what he's done is amazing. I think the script, the story is completely original, and that's what the horror. I don't really call it horror. I don't think it's really horror. I think it's more kind of thriller. I don't know.
It's kind of it's been sold as a horror, but it's not a horror film. But it's huge success.
Yeah, and just that originality and the flair, and really kudos to Jordan. I hope he does well. I hope it wins a couple of Oscars.
Hey, you know who was in this movie? Bradley Whitford. You know
Bradley Whitford? Billy Madison.
Yeah, exactly.
Mono eat mono.
Yeah, the little weasel laugh he does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that Bradley Whitford. He's in it. He's the dad. So look, if you like him, he's in this too.
Let's do it.
What are you going to give it, Blake?
I think we're going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I'd probably give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to give it an 8. It was great. It was a really good film. It'll go down, 2017 as being, one of the better films of the year, and so it should. I think it'll stand the test of time. I think we'll be watching this in 10 years, 15 years. Well, Tom, that's that time that we've all been waiting for. One of our most talked about films recently that we've been really keen to watch.
The 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, directed by Martin McDonald's.
Dunno.
And that's McDonough. It's not McDonald's. This is the guy that directed In Bruges. You might remember that from a few years ago.
7 Psychopaths.
And 7 Psychopaths. Yeah, 7 Psychopaths.
Yeah.
Probably take it or leave it. You said that too. Oh, so we think the same thing. So what's this film about, Blake?
So Frances McDormand is a mother of one at the moment, due to her daughter being brutally murdered, and bad things happen.
Bad things happen. And she takes it upon herself to paint some messages on some billboards, just to basically calling the police out and saying, hey, what are you doing about my daughter?
This alerts the police. Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell, who play... Sam Rockwell is quite an interesting character, getting a lot of talk.
Yeah, it's kind of a disgraceful character. Racist,
terrible
pig.
person, really.
Really.
Yeah, so Woody Harrelson kind of goes up and confronts Frances about the 3 billboards, and then it's just the to and froing between her and the whole police department, so to speak, with moments of real poignant brutality.
Absolutely. And when it does happen, you're just like, oh, there goes my popcorn. I just spilled it all over the ground. Or like, that's disgusting. I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really enjoyable. I didn't think a single frame was wasted in the whole film.
Yeah, I thought it was beautifully made. I think that there were colourful characters. I thought that, Frances played a really hardcore individual who was quite upset.
So kind of like she's grown up from the cop in Fargo into she's retired and now she's taken matters into her own hands.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh, sure.
And I thought it really surprised me, and some of the storyline decisions really surprised me. I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. A couple of points with the more violent bits.
Yep.
And yeah, I thought the conclusion of it ended in a really realistic way. I saw that. I didn't think it would end that way, but I saw it and thought that, yeah, it's a nice kind of ending.
What's not to love?
Yeah.
Francis, Sam, Woody. I actually think it's a better film than In Bruges. I think it surpassed my expectation of what I was expecting to be. Really, really pleasantly surprised by this.
Yeah, and I think it brings out things that we need to talk about. Obviously, gun violence in America, that's getting massive kind of coverage now. It relates to that, relates to, family breakdown and what, families, how families can work together to, I guess, be more tolerant of each other.
Dealing with grief, in a very...
grief.
Obviously, this is not the way everyone should be dealing with grief, but it is a way.
No. And then, obviously, the police and the civilian kind of relationship, and obviously the police, some policemen aren't probably doing the right thing in America, and that's a big thing that needs to be talked about as well. So, yeah, I thought it didn't take itself too seriously, but the kind of themes that it was bringing up were really strong themes that should be talked about.
So what do you give it, Blake?
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5. I'm going to give it a 9.
Oh, nice.
So I guess we've gone through 2 episodes here and we've talked a lot about these movies. Why don't we just give what we think might win this year?
Yeah, I think that the best film will go to Dunkirk.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, I think it'll go to Dunkirk.
I'm not too sure. I think that the 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, probably... I think it might take it. The Shape of Water is really close by, but I don't see it taking out the big award, but that's just me.
I think 3 billboards got too much bad press.
Interesting.
What about cinematography?
Oh, my man Roger Deakins is going to take it away. Come on,
Thanks,
give
mate.
him the Oscar
Give him the
already.
Oscar.
Give him the Oscar already. Raj.
How about best actor?
It's going to be Gary Oldman.
Do you think Daniel Day-Lewis has a chance?
No. I think Gary Oldman is just a shoo-in. I think it's his time. Actress,
I think Francis is going to take it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's no contest. It'll be Frances McDormand for sure. Director.
I'm kind of conflicted. I do think that Guillermo del Toro will possibly win this. Possibly take it from Christopher Nolan. And I'm really worried because I prefer Christopher Nolan to win. So yeah, I just don't know. My gut feeling goes with Guillermo, to be honest.
Look, I'm gonna. My gut feeling here is that everyone's looking in the wrong direction. I think that perhaps there's going to be an upset here, and I think it's going to go to Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, that's the most recent film that I've seen, and I really love that directing, so I completely get that. And if that happens, then I will just be like, yeah, warranted. She deserves it. She just actually does deserve it. It's not a big film. It's well acted, but when you put it up against, the likes of Dunkirk and Shape of Water and millions and millions upon millions of dollars have been put into this, massive thing.
Sure.
It doesn't, that's not what it's graded on though. It's graded on, it's graded on feeling, it's graded on telling a story and punchiness.
For screenplay, I think that if Get Out is going to take away anything here, it's going to be for original screenplay. And screenplays are always, I feel, are a little bit of a tough one to pick. I think that just when you have it pegged, they'll do a 180, and especially the fact that there's obviously a lot of actors that are voting for this stuff as well. I think you might see a surprise here, and I think that Jordan Peele might take out the best.
Yeah, I think screenplay always gets away with escaping the politics of everything else. Best actor, best director, best film. That kind of takes it encompasses all the politics. When screenplay can be like an outlier of that, you kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
So I think it could be Lady Bird or 3 Billboards.
Even though I said Get Out.
Yeah, even though you said Get Out.
Yeah. So he's, as he said before, he's very, very conflicted. We hope you enjoyed part 1 and part 2 of our Academy Awards wrap up of all the films, and enjoy watching the Oscars telecast on Monday.
We'll be tweeting.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it. All right, see you soon.
See ya.